y'all? Welcome to a very rainy Thursday here in the Boston area. Hope everyone's having a great day. I'm a duck, so I love the weather, but it is, I mean, it's a good day to not be out in it. I like watching it. I like seeing it. I like sleeping when it is happening outside and I am inside. But yeah, not great out there. So anyway, hey, hope everyone's having a great Thursday. I'm fired up. I'm really excited about this. And yeah, actually, I think it was Rocky, one of our patrons, that suggested this idea. And I was like, yeah, that'd be cool. Let's do that. So today is that let's do that day. Before we get started into the P500 stuff and all that, we have some good news to take care of. So, new patrons, actually, 2 new ones. That went up 3. That means one of the folks whose credit card didn't work is now working. So thank you to whomever that is. I never can. I've yet to be able to figure out how to figure that out. So plus, I don't really want to dime them out, but I appreciate it, but I want to give them credit. So anyway, whoever that was, thank you for the new patrons. Robert D, Jordan B, thank you. And cheers for the support. That really matters a lot to me, so thank you. Also, while we're giving shout outs, Stephen S bumped their support. So Stephen, appreciate you. Thank you very much. Also, a shout out to Douglas M, who joined during the patron drive, but just wanted to give a special shout out and say, hey, Douglas, thank you for the support. Really does mean a lot. You are definitely going above and beyond, so thank you. I appreciate it. All right. So, oh, it's good tea. It's nice and warm. Like I said, it's nasty outside, right? So the plan, I assume that most of y'all know what the P500 is for GMT. So, but we're gonna walk through. I'm gonna go through 3 different pages. This is basically a gross advertisement that GMT didn't ask me for, and it's. Honestly, it was something I just wanted to do. I thought it sounded fun. So, GMT, you're welcome. It really is just a huge sales pitch for them. I'm not trying to, this isn't sponsored. This is a cool thing and to put things on your radar. Don't feel FOMO. Don't feel obligated. Don't feel any of that. It is what it is. Man, I have a huge smudge on my glasses. Honestly, it's just something I wanted to do. That's all this is. And it just so happens to benefit GMT and y'all. And I guess me, because you're watching, right? So I'm going to explain what it is. We're going to go through that. We're going to then go through the different segments of it. And then I will highlight the buyer's guide that they did. And I figure this is going to be 2.5 hours. So get comfy. All right. So yeah. All right. That's better. That's less smudgy. All right. Give me just 1 second. We'll get started on all that. All right. All right. Oh, good. All right. So let's see. Let me catch up chat wise. See if there's anything else. Hope the driving range is going well, Rocky. The P500, not great for the Europeans. Well, if nothing else, even if you don't want to, because it's too expensive, hopefully this maybe put some stuff on your radar for when the time comes and it's released and it's available to y'all. Okay? Kaladin says in Germany, there is the UGG shop, the UGG shop, which imports most of the P500 games and is probably the cheapest option to get them here. Okay, very cool. Nice. That's good to know. And Zivko says it's cheaper to do support the local game store instead of the P500 directly. Look, I get it. And again, I'm all for it. Support your local game store if they do stuff that warrants support, right? I have a local one. You've never heard its name. Why? Because the people there are kind of douche canoes. So I'm not going to actually support them, A. And B, I don't want to give them a shout out. So yeah, if they are worthy of support, please go do that. That is wonderful. Plus, if it's cheaper for you, it just makes sense, right? So what Daniel brings up, and we'll get into that. I'm not gonna say it's unethical, but that's not really helping, sort of. So we'll circle back to that, Daniel. Okay. All right. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into this. Hold on. That was unprepared. There we go. There you go. So what is the P500? It's Project 500. I've never heard it referenced as anything other than P500. It's a no-risk way to order games. So you can see this, and this isn't a hard, fast thing. Okay. So the key is you can just order these games without actually ordering the game, meaning you don't put any money out. You just say, hey, basically, I'm telling you, GMT, I want to buy this game. Because the idea of this game is cool. These are still far in development. Like they are in different process, different from like we have a basic design and we're still a few years out to, hey, this is actually in production, ready to rock and roll. That type thing. Okay. So as you see here, every couple of months, or they add new games to the P500 all the time. When a game reaches 500, it's officially made the cut. It's at the point where we commit to the designer that we will print the game. Now, sometimes just because it hits 500 doesn't mean it's going to be printed immediately. It still could be a year or two out. So understand that. All that means is GMT is committing resources now to actually make the game. Okay? When a game reaches 750, we begin to talk to the dev team about the game's readiness. So again, it's a process, right? When the artists finish art, it goes back to the designer and developer. When they sign off on the final files, then production takes over and they send the files to the printer. Generally, about 4 months after they send the game to the printer, it's back ready to ship out to customers. And this is the important part right here. Not the important, but one of the big things. When we get notification for the arrival date in our warehouse, we set and announce a charge date that's usually 1 to 2 weeks before we intend to ship the game. On the day that we charge, we batch charge all the orders for any games that we are shipping. So in other words, if you're still P500ing it, meaning you haven't canceled it for whatever reason, they're going to charge you at that point. So a week to 2 weeks before you get the game, they're going to pull the trigger and charge your credit card. Okay? Now note, it says we have special Euro-friendly shipping for our customers in the EU. We ship through Second Chance Games in the UK or Udogribe for the EU customers. That includes shipping fees and VAT charges or VAT charges. So what you pay when we charge you is all that you pay for the game, and then a week after too, shipping goes out, and that's it. The difference between it and Kickstarter is you don't have to pay a year or two in advance. You pay a week or two before it actually arrives in your hands. Okay? This is the benefit to you. Well, no. There are definitely more. And to me, I mean, the money obviously matters. 30 or 40% is no joke, okay? But this, to me, is the big thing. Is you're basically saying to GMT, yo, this is the game I want. This is the game that I am here to support. It's Kickstarter, but for GMT. And you don't have to pay up front. That's basically the gist of it. There you go. And I mean, it talks about how it benefits the game designers. Allows new designers and designers of niche games to get their games published through a quality company. Now, obviously, a game like Mr. President, it helps that the owner of the company, that was his game. But that's definitely a niche one. The other game that I have sitting right next to me here, Echo from the Dark, that is from an unknown designer. And y'all have shown that you're interested in it, so therefore it's actually getting made. And I'll talk about that one here in a little bit too. Okay. And if customers respond well to the game on P500, it increases the initial print run. They print more games. Designer makes more money. Publisher makes more money. More people get the game. Everyone drives home in a Cadillac, so to speak. Yeah. And it lets designers work on the games they're passionate about, designing not games that are popular and on often oversaturated topics. Looking at you, Eastern Front. World War II. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the Eastern Front and World War II. I love learning about it and gaming about it, but you get the idea. Now, these are predominantly historical simulation games, not necessarily war games. There are 18xx games. There are other historical based games, but also, you know, sci-fi type stuff and everything. So yeah, that's what this is today. So that is what the P500 is, okay, in a nutshell. Now, here I was messing around with graphics. So this is the actual P500 list. So if you go on here and you actually click P500 pre-order, this is it. Okay, now there's all of this, and we're gonna peruse this, and we're gonna talk about specific games in here and all that. Now, Gene also made this little buyer's guide, which, hey, what games are close to going out of stock? Now, we'll cover all this afterwards, but we'll go through all of this stuff here in a little bit at the end, and by a little bit, I mean, you know, towards the end of this. So there you go. But here you go. So here's the P500. Okay, so shipping now means these have already been charged. Okay, so hey, if you haven't gotten a guest of Robinhood, now notice up here there is no discount price. Why? Because it's already shipping. You didn't help get this game made, so you pay full price. By the way, we are going to be streaming this tomorrow morning or tomorrow at noon. So if you are interested in checking this out before maybe you go and buy it, this is where you can watch it tomorrow. Kyle and I are going to run through this. But anyway, so this gives you an idea here that the shipping now, you're too late. So my question is, I think we ought to go about this the other way, all right? So we're going to start down here in the not there yet. Okay, so if you look, all of these here, well, if you just look at the orders to date, these all are sub 500 numbers. Okay, so this is your biggest opportunity to make the biggest impact, I would argue, here. All right. So yeah. So anyway, oh, okay. Malwinia says that Udo Grebe is the owner of the UGG shop in Germany. Okay, cool. There we go. And yes, the spring sale, Jeff is pointing out, which we're going to talk about in conjunction with this. Again, because if we're going to do an advertisement, might as well do the whole thing. I'm saying that somewhat tongue-in-cheek because it's an advertisement, but it's just something I wanted to do. So, there you go. Alluvial. Yes, Space Empires at some point. I appreciate you tuning in. So, a lot of these I don't know anything about. I actually interacted with a number of their designers and developers last week when I was at CircleDC. So when I sent this out on Twitter, on Blue Sky, on Instagram and everything, I saw the two main, I would argue, feel like the two main developers. So Jason Carr, the head of development at GMT, retweeted it, or whatever you want to call it, on Blue Sky. And Joe Dewhurst, who is one of the main developers at GMT. We were hanging out at CircleDC. So I don't know if Joe and Jason are watching, but hey, what's up? Hope you all got home safe. All right, so let's look here at what we got. I don't know really anything about anything that's pictured here so far, other than Arden 44. I actually own a copy, and that was from years ago, and I haven't dug into it yet. Okay, so John, behave. So John is our John here on the show. He'll be here tonight for Power Grade. He's like, ooh, Napoleon in Egypt. Hadn't seen that one. All right, let's dig into that. Let's look. So this is what you're looking at. So once it ships, once it says shipping, you're going to pay $97 for it. P500, you're going to pay $62 for it. As long as you get into it before they cut that off. All right? So here we go. What do we got? Napoleon. We have little blurbs here, and that's what you see over on the left-hand side of the screen. I grabbed some of them, either from games that I am very much interested in or games that I am very much interested in. And we will be cycling through those as we go through. Okay, everything is playtest graphics, obviously. If it's at this point, whatever. So here we go. Some theme. It's a 2-player CDG. Operational war game. Again, there are 3 levels. Strategic, which is like whole world or really, really big. Viewpoint zoomed way, way out. Operational is in the middle of that, and then tactical is like very, very small numbers of troops. So there you go. French campaign in Egypt and Syria. Draws inspiration from Here I Stand and Twilight Struggle. Well, it's a CDG. Okay, that makes sense. 4 scenarios. Some highlights here. Okay. And again, it's all playtest stuff. So point-to-point movement. All right. There we go. Well, even for those of y'all that are in countries where it doesn't make sense to P500, maybe this puts something on your radar, right? So, elite combat dice, mediocre combat dice, only 1 hit. Okay, I would call that very mediocre. There you go. Apparently pretty good for solitaire and low complexity. Now, keep in mind, I want to kind of highlight this area right down here. For those of y'all that are not well versed in historical simulation games, i.e. war games and such, this scale, your typical medium heavy Euro lives in this part of the complexity scale. The heaviest Euro that you will ever consider, like a Stressbotics, is going to live in this bucket. And the high complexity, there is no comparison except in war games. So understand that the war game complexity scale is very skewed compared to the Euro-centric complexity scale. I feel very strongly about this. This is a hill I would die on, that the war games, and again, historical simulation and Euro complexity should be 2 different scales, because they are not apples to apples by any stretch of the imagination. So in other words, if you play medium heavy Euros, this is going to be, or even midweight Euros, this is going to fall in the wheelhouse that you can expect this to be. Okay? Yes, and solitaire suitability does not mean there's a solo system, just means like you can maybe play both sides pretty easily. But, so there's that. Okay? So, doesn't mean there won't be a solo. It just means that it's not necessarily solo specific or solo things. Okay? So anyway, there you go. That is Napoleon Ancient. If there's anything else that like super looks interesting to you, so expansions, SPQR, upgrade kit, World in Crisis. Oh, grand strategy of World War I. Tell me more. Okay, so let's see. 140. That means this is a big chuck full. It's probably going to be a bridge too far for me, but we'll see. P500, a more palatable $83. So I know nothing about this. Let's see. Grand strategy game. It's a World of War, and it's and gathering. Okay, yeah, this is probably a bridge too far for me. It's a game that I would love to like, and maybe in my retirement years, but as it is right now, no, this is going to be. But it has all the stuff that I want. Military, economic, political, diplomatic, research, and production aspects of the First World War. Oh my God, yes. I'm all about it. That sounds wonderful. And it's a bunch of what ifs, it looks like. Yeah, and see, like just a million shits. This is, so it's 13. counter sheets. But maybe it's not that. Maybe it's not too far. I mean, maybe. I mean, that sounds so tasty. Just, there's so much about this I like, and by the way, that weight, I believe, is in pounds, like physical weight of the box right there. Yeah, it's a lot of counters. And see, I like low counter density if we're going to play a hex encounter. I'm just saying, like, golly. Like, this is so speaking my language. Like, this, like, there's so much of that I love. I want all the levers. Let me pull them all. This sounds. John, let's do it. I'm just saying. This is, yeah. So, anyway, who's the designer on that? Did we see? World in Crisis pulls for interview. If y'all see it, if I shoot past it, tell me. Oh, there it is. Bruce Harper. And Andrea Lavery is the map art. Okay. So, I'm just saying. Okay. That seems like, yeah. Anyway. But, like, for a giant war game like this, like, that feels like a pretty reasonable price. 83, 140 certainly is going to make you people pause more than not, right? Just throwing that out. All right, let's see. So we got, hey, more packs, more tracks for oh my God, for Thunder Alley. That's the word I'm looking for. I saw Thunderverse. I know it's Thunder something, but anyway, Thunder Valley. So if you're into that, more packs. Hey, $19. And apparently, the designers have a Patreon. Let's go look. Aw, that's sweet. That's cool. Okay, very cool. All right, moving on. Let's see. Czar. Paul Hellier's 1, 2, or 4-player game on the rule of Nicholas II. Oh, game. Hold on. Circling back. World in Crisis. Game length. I mean, not short. Well, you know what? Because it so uses many of the gaming systems developed for World at War and its prequel games, Gathering Storm, Storm over Asia. So I imagine there will be scenarios in this, but the whole World at War. Here, let's go ahead. There we go. So this is that. Divide that by 60. That is not small. That is one of the games that I would love, but like I just don't. And so I like realistically, this is probably not going to happen, but I'm just saying. Okay. Oh God. Oh no. Oh, that's horrible. Carla recently passed. One of the two designers of oh God, that's I had no idea. Well, thank you for the heads up, David, but wow. Okay. Jeez. Sad. All right, moving on to Czar. Okay. So let's see. What do we got? Reimagines the reign of Nicholas II, last Tsar of Russia. Occupy the center of his regime. So is this like I Napoleon? Like, is it similar in something like that? I apologize. I'm scrolling too much. I'm sorry. Captures the interplay of public opinion, war, diplomacy, culture, internal order and economy and the personal traits of the Tsarist leaders and the imperial family. Ooh. Okay, this sounds really tasty. Oh, this sounds awesome, actually. Mostly card-driven, other mechanisms along resource management. More like Prime Minister. Okay, yeah, that's what I meant, by the way. Thank you. That's what the gist of this, I'm thinking. This looks pretty far along. Like, for this being this low in the queue, like, wow. Okay, so notice where it is over here in the complexity. So this has got some meat, y'all. This is heavier than your typical Euro stuff here. But if you look at, okay, so a ton of wooden pieces, a ton of cards, right? But it doesn't seem like this. I mean, we haven't seen a map, so we don't know. I mean, I don't know if Jason's in chat or not, but I'm just saying. He's 9 mats. So that tells me kind of like in Atlantic Chase and stuff like that, depending on what board you're playing, this sounds badass. Okay, I'm in for this. Gimme. And again, look at the price on this. Now, like this is a physically big game. Wow. Okay, this is a biggin. I am in for this. Okay, so Czar only has 456. You today can put this over the hump. All right, let's pause for a second. GMT knows who Heavy Cardboard is. It sounds like we're gonna work together starting later this year. That's awesome. However, I'm not asking for y'all to inundate GMT, but if we drive you to support them, whether it's on the P500 or any of the games we stream, letting them know, emails, comments on the game pages, stuff like that, certainly helps. And that's a way that doesn't cost you guys anything to support Heavy Cardboard, and it really does make a difference. I'm not asking y'all to inundate them. I'm just saying, wow, Heavy Cardboard did these streams. It really drove me over and I picked up these games because of it. Something like that would be really, really helpful for the channel, so I would appreciate that. All right. Thank you, and now back to their commercial. All right. Okay. So let's see. David says, I haven't been able to table Prime Minister yet, so while Czar looks cool. Good news, Czar's still a way away, so you could always get Prime Minister to the table in the meantime, but the thing is you don't know if you like Prime Minister, so I get it. Again, I'm not trying to sell y'all on these. I'm just saying, I'm being genuine. Ooh, this looks cool to me. Okay? So, Indian Abyss. So, OG, the original coin. I can't wait to sit down with Volko. My plan is to interview Volko 2 different times with 2 very particular driving conversations. One, where the hell did coin come from and how did it, and just really, look, he's done a million interviews, I get, but I haven't asked him the questions I want to ask. So there's going to be one on that, and second is going to be on the other series, which is the Coast Watcher series, which you see down below. I am super, that's the Hunt for Blackbeard, Coast Watchers, and Draken, and how he came up with that and all that. But anyway, $57 for the OG coin. Think if you play Cuba Libre, this is similar to that, just on a bigger, more very like just a bigger map, so you have more maneuverability as opposed to being choke pointed through Cuba. But yeah, so yeah, exactly. We leave that commercial to send you back to your regularly scheduled commercial. Thank you, OG. So, and apparently Indian Abyss available on Rally the Troops, so you can go play it there. Yeah, totally. 1960, Making of the President. So, it's a CDG driven by Well, it's a card-driven game, right? Okay, think a la kinda Twilight Struggle-ish. Pretty cool game. I've enjoyed my plays of this one. So this has 266 orders for it. Unconditional Surrender. I own this. Oh, this is strictly for the mounted maps. Important to note that when you're reading these, make sure you read what it says. So yeah, it's instead of there being paper maps, if you want the mounted maps, you can get them this way. Okay. This is a series that I just have not been able to get into. I'm not saying they're bad by any stretch. I am just saying I have struggled to get into because the American Revolution just is not my jam. It just really isn't the time. Same with Napoleonics. I'm struggling to get into them, but I'm trying. Anyway, let's keep moving. Hey, look at that. Third printing of Atlantic Chase. I am currently in the process of learning Atlantic Chase, and you will see Atlantic Chase on heavy cardboard. But let me just say this. I have not played the game. I've only worked through 5 of the tutorials so far, and that feels like a pretty good price. And it is a very clever system. Very clever so far from what I have gotten into this. So yeah. So no, I know I know his history, Rocky, about Volko. I want specifics though. Anyway, so Atlantic Chase, this is just, I'm super into this game. I really, really, really want to play this game. Yeah, really clever. Highly recommend. To where there are trajectories, you don't know where ships are specifically, and you have to kind of narrow it down. It's kind of the fog of war, but for the naval game in World War II. Just very, very clever. Clever stuff. Highly recommend. So definitely worth checking out. Plus, we're going to stream it before this thing gets printed. You'll have time to check that out. Border Reavers. Sheep Theft Simulator 1513. A lot of fun. It is a beer and pretzels. Silly from it's all of us stealing each other's sheep in 16th century Britain and Scotland. I played this CircleDC 6 players. It was a blast playing at 6 players. It'll go 3-4 hours probably in a 6-player game, but totally worth it if you're up for a beer and pretzels game. A lot of fun. Highly recommend. So we streamed that one as well. I'm not going to hit on every game. If there's anything specific that y'all want me to dig into here, mention it in chat. I'll look at it. Otherwise, I'm going to highlight the stuff that, well, I am familiar with. Okay? Or interested in, as it were. Empire of the Sun. Arguably Mark Herman's magnum opus. I mean, there's also Vietnam, I get it. But this is kind of his baby. Like, this I feel like is the thing he's most proud of. I don't want to speak for Mark. Mark's a buddy of mine, but yeah, this is kind of like he still never gets tired of playing this game, which is glorious. This is a big game. This is a hard game. He's like, oh, I can teach you to play this game in 15 minutes. And I said, that's a big thing to say there, Mark. And very high level, maybe in 15 minutes. But I would love to get Mark into the studio this summer and have him run me through Empire of the Sun. But if you want Pacific World War II CDG, but I mean, there's a lot here. Definitely worth checking out. I own this. Just haven't gotten it played, so maybe we could do it with Mark here in studio. Anyway, and that is how much? Sorry, $56 for it. Okay, cool. Enemy Coast Ahead. So this is I don't know the series like but this Jeremy White's designs, like he has done this in the Doolittle raids, right? Or so, okay, this is the Dam Buster raid. This is Enemy Coast Ahead is kind of the original in the series. And then looking down here, the Doolittle raids, also on the P500. is the second in that series, if you will. And actually, Gene and I, when we were talking about this, he was talking about how Jeremy kind of pitched this game to him and how he's totally thinking outside the box to where, like, you are the airplane, kind of. Like, this is the, like, just the way it's being, the thinking outside the box that went into the design in this. This is kind of similar to the Hunters, but that for U-boats, to where you are basically the U-boat. This is, you are the airplane going on the raid, doing what it is. So yeah, this series is pretty cool. I am interested in it. I own one of them. I have not played it yet, but I'm interested in it. Oh, that's right. Jeremy's also Atlantic Chase. Thank you for the reminder on that. Jeu de société et bon Québécois. That's butchered. I understand that. But the Board Gaming Society of Quebec is what I'm going to roughly translate that to, I think. And Infernal Machine, which we will talk about here in a little bit. I know nothing about Infernal Machine. I'm curious to dig into it on this list. Who is it that's actually running that account right now? So I can actually say the name. We haven't gotten there, Gary. Let's wait. All right, moving on. Let's see. All right, yeah. I took 2 years of French. I don't practice my French. I apologize. What do we got here? Caesar, Rome versus Gaul. Don't see designer on this. Let's see. This is CDG. Mark Simonich. I know nothing about this one. Fast playing, easy to learn. Hold on. Again, I would like to point out in this realm, when it's a mid-weight, it's a pretty bigger game than for Euros, but completely doable. Let me be clear on that. When you start getting into the high stuff on the left side here, this is where you really better be invested to dig into it. But in the mid and low, it's doable. You can handle this. If you're watching heavy cardboard, you can handle that. If the high, you can handle it as long as you're willing to invest into it. Okay? That's where I would say. All right. So yeah, so that said, fast playing, easy to learn, 2-player card-driven game, Caesar's Conquest of Gaul. One Caesar, the other's Gaul. All right, the Gauls, yeah, okay, cool. Oh, okay, so this uses the Hannibal Rome versus Carthage, similar in that regard. So if you like that, which is an all-time classic, there you go. Yeah. So this is similar to that, except not Hannibal. It's a little bit later in time period. There you go. Yep. Wow, y'all, a lot of y'all are really knowledgeable about this, and I love y'all for it, and I appreciate that today. Because I know some, but I don't have the wealth of knowledge that some of y'all do, so I appreciate that. Thanks. And that is also, Arno brings up a good point. Sometimes you also need to invest in the medium ones, depending on the polish of the rule books. And Levy and Campaign is a great series, but tough to learn from the rules. If only there is a channel. I'm working on it. We're working on it. Okay. So, all right, let's keep moving on. What else we got? Fields of Despair. We streamed this one once. It's a block war game, World War I. Really enjoyed this. My guess is the higher price tag on this is because it has a lot of blocks. So you have to sticker the blocks. You have to, all that. Important note, anytime you get a block war game, be it from GMT, Columbia, and I think I'm correct, if you can get the latest printing and you can buy it used, I recommend doing that as opposed to new. You might be asking yourself, wow, that's a weird thing to say. Why is Edward saying that? Because somebody probably stickered the blocks. Now, I realize some of y'all enjoy counter clipping. I appreciate that some of y'all enjoy punching out counters and stickering blocks. I am not one of those people. Judge accordingly. Okay? All right. So, anyway. So, block more games. Second hand, not so bad. Not so bad, because they're stickered. But anyway, really enjoyed our play of this. Would love to dig in more. Oh, and notice here for the solitaire suitability, some scenarios you can play solitaire. It's a block war game, normally not a soloable thing. And the complexity midway, yeah, that feels about right. Okay. So there you go. But yeah, block war game, World War I. Check it out. Man, there's so many. Like, okay, hey, Falling Sky, there's a coin. That's the 6th in the series. This is very much not a standard coin. This is not Baby's first coin. I've yet to play it, but this is a big one. This is certainly and again, the suitability for solitaire, if you want to individually play each faction, like forehand this. This is a big one. So note on that. I see you, John, says if you ever cover Levian campaign, that'd be amazing. Majka says stickering blocks can be a mindless hand activity while watching heavy cardboard, like knitting. Also fair, a valid point, and that might be a thing you're into. If somebody wants to sticker my blocks and punch my games, you are welcome to do so. What's up, Tails? So yeah. Oh god, oh my god, there are so many. I know all of these. So okay. For the People, 25th anniversary. This is one of the OG CDGs. So it's up to this is the second printing. It would be nearly identical to the first printing, except all the known errata will be corrected. In other words, benefit y'all. Okay? So, I mean, it's 25 years old. So, pretty awesome. Gandhi, this is a coin, the 9th iteration of the coin series. Minor balance changes, any known errata. Okay? I mean, they're coins. We don't need to spend much time. I tried like hell to win this at the at CircleDC. I failed. Obviously, it's the first printing. Known errata would be corrected. Because I wanted to, I want to stream this one. Like, look at that. Remember that one that was 13? This is 1/2 counter sheet. Because it's all in the cards, right? So I'm looking forward to busting this out. Even though I said I'm not really big in Napoleonics. Napoleon himself, though, is interesting, even if the warfare might not really be my jam. Even though I have Napoleon's Triumph in the closet, and I would love in the library, and I would love to stream that at some point. So, this is one I really want to get to the table sometime soon. Illusions of Glory is the follow-up to Past the Glory. So a lot of these are, as you can see, they are second editions, reprints, so on and so forth. Peloponnesian War, Next War, India, Pakistan, Nevsky, Navajo Wars, etc. Pendragon, like all of these are all, you'll notice, second printings, so on and so forth. And I don't want to spend too much time going through all of these, some of which I know, some of which I don't. What I'm more interested in with these are the newer games that are not like brand new games that aren't reprints, right? So there you go, like Napoleon in Egypt that we talked about. World in Crisis, or the World Crisis, like the bigger one, all right? And Czar. Czar sounds hella cool. Like, I am all over Czar. That sounds so awesome. Yeah, all right. So now we're going to move up to the next section. The next section is, hey, made the cut. These are between at least 500. Okay, once they hit 750, then they start kicking in. Artwork, I believe it was, right? Was it then? Let's look at this. It was, here you go. When it hits 750, dev teams about their readiness. So how far into development is it? Okay, so that's 500 to 750. And then, so this is when it really kicks into gear, okay? So, we have our first 18XX games. I know nothing about either one of these. Big Wyoming. What I do know is $59 for an 18XX, pretty damn good price. Don't know who the designer is on this one. Let's see, Dominic Duhamel. Okay. The name doesn't ring a bell, but that doesn't mean they're new. It just means I might be missing this. Okay, new game at 18XX here. 3 to 5, 3 hours to play. Now, is that 3 hours once you're experienced with the game, or like... acquire privates, establish railroad corps, build railroad, right, okay. Okay, this is the paragraph I care about here. While much of 1867 Big One familiar, the game offers several unique mechanisms, i.e. MacGuffins, capture the unique quality of Wyoming's railroad history, provide players with new and interesting challenges. Without overdressing the core systems, can be enjoyed by new and seasoned 18XX, can be played in an evening. So theoretically, this is a school night game. The game features an in-game acquisition system, which every player-owned railroad is acquired by the Union Pacific or Burlington Northern. So, okay, so it doesn't let the game stall out. It pushes it along. Okay, boom or bust, the resource delivery. Okay, so you're actually delivering, so it's introducing a little bit of pick up and deliver in an 18XX. Variable setup. It's been in development for 4 years. Okay. So again, everything you see here is it's all subject to change. Okay. I mean, I don't know what this stuff over here is on the left-hand side. But otherwise, everything else looks pretty standard. Looks like a reasonably sized map. Okay. Good. And that one has 517. So it's going to get made, but it still might be a couple years out. 18 EUS, Bank of New York. Okay. Designed by Greg Holton. Again, not a name that jumps out at me, but okay. So what do we got here? Under 4 hours. Okay. Inspiration on this one. 1822, 1862, 18 USA, which I believe is the 18 set. Wow. How are you combining that with like an 1822? That's interesting. Players take personal loans during stock rounds to fund their investments. Okay. Huh. This is kind of a cool riff on that. But it also, it looks like it has, like it shows here in this picture down here, the 1822 auctions that go throughout the entire game, which is unique to that series, the 1822 and its derivatives, which I absolutely love. Pre-game variability, right? The private company auctions, great. Not soloable, apparently. So no, it's not pulling that from 1862. All right. But in a more bite-sized piece than like 22. Now, 22 has different scenarios. But that looks pretty cool. Good. All right. What else do we have? Hey, look. Coin is turned 15. Can almost drive. Fading Star, Insurgency and Piracy in Somalia. And who's this one by? Looking for a name. Designer is Jean de Villanueva. Villanueva? Yeah, I think so. Joe Dewhurst is the developer. Now, series designer, Volko, obviously. Series developer, Jason. Doesn't mean they have a big hand in this, if any. So this is their own animal, but all right. What? So if I see... Okay. So now is when we're going to talk about two of these that y'all see. So you see Combat Commander Vietnam. Now, Combat Commander, designed by the late, great Chad Johnson. This, I actually saw a little bit on. This is the long-awaited by fans of the series, and now covers the Vietnam War in all its complexity. So this is designed by NB and Steven. Let me get their last name. Oh, so Non-Breaking Space and Steven Rangazaris. There you go. So Steven is local up here. Well, sort of. He's going to school at Harvard right now. I'm going to have Steven in studio here in the coming month or two to talk about this, as well as one other game that's going to be on this list. I'm hoping to have a sit-down interview with NB, Non-Breaking Space. He does not want to be on camera, but he's willing to do interviews with me. So that's something we're going to do. Anyway, this is Combat Commander in Vietnam. I saw this a little bit at CircleDC. This looks like a massive take on, if you are a fan of Combat Commander and or the Vietnam War historical simulations, this is going to be the game for you. This is, I would argue, their priority. This is, a lot of people are waiting on this. What kills me, what surprises me, there are only 829 pre-orders for this. But yeah, there's going to be a big push for this, I have a feeling. Okay? Yeah. Now, this next one, before we get to that, that's this. This is one of two prototypes of Echoes of the Dark. Now, notice I slur that because I can't remember how to say the damn name. It's Echo from the Dark. Apparently, I'm not the only one. I still think they ought to change the name, but I digress. My concern is there's a lot of white on these tiles. We are going to stream the prototype. We are going to do this. So, big thanks to Adam. If you are a patron, here in 2 hours, that interview is going to drop to you. It's a little snippet of a bigger interview that Adam and I are going to be doing publicly for everybody. But anyway, if you're a patron, that's going to drop in about 2 hours. But what is Echo from the Dark? And notice it's singular, Echo from the Dark, not Echo in the Dark and all that. So. Oh, John says Combat Commander Vietnam just got announced 2 weeks ago. Oh. Okay. In that case, 800 and change seems like a pretty good number for 2 weeks. Okay, fair enough. So, Echo from the Dark, this is going to be the fourth game in the ICS series. Guest of Robin Hood, Vijay Nagara, Cross Bronx Expressway. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And then this. This is, obviously, as you can tell, has no art. It's a year or two away. But we're going to go ahead and stream it and show y'all how the sausage is made. Maybe we'll have Adam in chat. He's out on the West Coast. He's not going to be in studio, but maybe we can have him live on like Zoom or something. I don't know. We'll figure that out. So anyway, yeah. So looking forward to that. And yes, the hoodie is very comfortable. Thought this was a little bit more informal. I can get away with it. Anyway, yeah. Here's what I ask on this. and I'm being 100% selfish on this, wait until we stream this in early May to go and back this. That way, the bump is in relation to our streaming, and that helps Heavy Cardboard. It helps Adam, and it also helps GMT and helps you. I'm just saying, wait to do it on this one till we stream this. I promise you, in the end, that benefits y'all. I promise you it does. Because if y'all wait until we stream it, they see, oh, wow, this actually gets a huge bump being able to do this, and you get to see more of these. I'm being dead serious. So maybe you wait on that. Okay? So, but yeah, I think y'all are really going to like this. James actually played a full game of it and hasn't shut up for a week about the game. He was that smitten with it. James went down to CircleDC. The patrons all heard our discussions about all that and stuff. But yeah. So anyway, the theme is here. Let's go through this. So Adam is the designer, is a huge sci-fi nerd. And so he wanted to basically break out factions and have factions in space, right? To be able to do this. Yeah, it's coin adjacent in space. There you go. But you can read it, like right here. Interstellar struggle between divergent factions after humanity discovers a material that allows faster than light travel and communication. Use the material, deploy, you get the idea. Okay? Yeah, this is coin adjacent. What I mean by that is, if you know nothing about the coin system, you're going to be okay. If you know the coin system, it's going to give you a leg up on learning this, but you need to unlearn some things. And you can't have certain assumptions about coin. And that's where the ICS series, the coin system has a rigid framework that games have to adhere to be in the coin system. The ICS series can take some aspects and then do your own thing on it. That's kind of it in a nutshell. So yeah, I mean, this is clearly not, set in a historical space. So there you go. There's the artwork that you're going to get. Not everything on mine is hand drawn, right? Yeah. So there you go. Anyway, Echo from the Dark. Wait to back that. You're gonna want to probably if this type of thing sounds interesting, but wait till we stream it. Defiance. So Mark Herman and Doctor D Doctor. He has a podcast, or at least he did have a podcast that I used to listen to. This tells me this is going to be a very big game. Maybe not, but it's set on Ukraine and the Russian invasion of Ukraine in 22. I've heard Mark Herman talking about this one. This is going to be certainly a more involved traditional war game. But interesting. Like, the theme appeals to me. But interesting. Yeah. So, all right. Anyway, I know Mark pretty well. Been to a summer home. Like, he's a buddy of mine. Even if some of his games are a little big for what it is I want, or that I have the time for, I can appreciate his designs. All right. So what else we got? So those were the two big that I wanted to highlight. And there's a third one I want to highlight. And actually, I wanted to start kind of unveiling a couple more of these. So Combat Commander Vietnam, that's a big one. Echo from the Dark, that's a big one. The other big one I wanted to highlight out of this that I know about personally now is Hammer and Sickle. So Alex, what's Alex's last name? Let me get to his so I can give him credit. Alex Knight, super chill dude. Super serious, but also really friendly and approachable. A bunch of people came up to me at CircleDC, and Alex was there with Hammer and Sickle, and they were like, "You got to try this. It's amazing." It like literally everybody who talked about it had something positive to say about it, and I'm like, okay, I'll check it out. So then eventually on Sunday, Alex came up to me. He's like, "Hey, you're Edward, right?" I was like, "Yes." I was told you wanted to check it out. I was like, "Well, yes. All right, let's sit down and do it." So we only had about an hour, so only played one impulse, like one action. But he gave me the gist on how this works. And this is exactly what it looked like. Obvious prototype. But it's a 4-player asymmetric game about post-World War I Tsarist breakup. Russian Revolution, post-breakup, 4 factions, and it is all about asymmetric goals and asymmetric powers that what you're trying to do. It is a relatively pretty simple, straightforward game in what it is that you're trying to do. So there are 4 different factions. The 4 different factions are colored there: the green, the red, the blue, the white. They are sort of loosely aligned. So the red and black, as you can see down here in the bottom left on that, they need to control, this is the number of areas that you control between you and your loose partner. So there's going to be a marker that's going to be a tug of war between the 2 sides for how many that they control. But individually, you're going to have your own individual marker that's counting up from 0 up for how many of your objectives you have met, and the first one to have those 2 markers meet wins the game. And so if you're pulling it down to the left and your partner is further up on the marker here, you might all of a sudden start helping these guys to pull the star over this way so that you're not going to automatically lose the game because your partner is going to win. It's a really simple card-driven game with it's no counters. It's just like basically wooden pieces that are going to be on the board. So it is a very approachable game from that standpoint. Historically based, obviously, and seemed really cool and relatively simple. If you're coming from the Euro side of things, this is going to be really approachable. Really pretty simple. Mid-weight Euro, maybe mid-heavy Euro, but not anything more than that. Super clever, and really enjoyed it. I was sitting with Alex during our run-through of him teaching me and a couple of the other folks that were there that just walked up and picked it up right away. Jason Carr mentioned, hey, this is going to go into production later on this year. So this price is not going to be available for, the entire year. This is definitely going into production later on this year. So that is Hammer and Sickle. So definitely recommend checking that out. All right. So what else? What else we got? I don't know, Bernardo. That's something I'll make a note of that. That's a really good question about like a group, heavy cardboard based thing. I'll talk to Rachel and the folks over at GMT and see if that's maybe something we could work out. So yeah, maybe. I appreciate that. So another one that I got to try is Microverse. This is very much a Beer and Pretzels space sci-fi theme game. So Sam Matthews is designer. He was the one who was running the games of this. This is a very light Beer and Pretzels sci-fi race game. I enjoyed it. But it's very much a light race game compared to your typical like historical simulation GMT war game here. There are a ton. He had 60, I think, factions that you could play. Everybody is overpowered. Everybody has rule breakers. And it's just a kind of a 4X-y type, very light space sci-fi race game. So yeah, definitely check that out if you were so inclined. I enjoyed it. It was lighter than I expected it to be, but I enjoyed it. What else? What else? What else? Oh, it's here. Okay. Okay. So Rebellion Britannia, Marie Suckling, was at CircleDC. I don't know if Daniel was. I'm not familiar with Daniel. I saw this getting demoed there. This, I don't know a whole lot about it. Here you go. Here we go. The overview right here. Card driven, 1 to 4 players. Rome or one of the British tribes. Over the course of 12 rounds, lasting an hour, hour and a half. This seems like a pretty light one. And Maurice's games tend to be, there's one coming from CircleDC. It is, oh God, Peace 1905. Also falls in line with that. So again, the low complexity. Playing time, you're looking at 60 to 90 minutes. So definitely a lighter one. It looked cool. Never got a chance to try this one though. So I saw that. Okay, so this is from NB. This is Non-Breaking Space. I saw him demoing this. This is so not my cup of tea, but it's something by NB, so I'm happy to highlight it. This is very tactical, and that is not something that interests me. That scale of game. So here in Solitaire Tech Ops, Ortona, sorry. You command the campaign over 12 scenarios from south of the Moro River to the city of Ortona, which ultimately became the proving ground for modern urban warfare tactics. Okay. This is exactly kind of how it looked. So again, obviously early prototype stuff. But this is not my jam. But if you were into tactical level urban warfare, this might be your jam. So, I mean, obviously it's a solitaire game, so, I mean, yeah. But again, it's an agency perspectives design by NB. So, all right. And again, NB Non-Breaking Space, okay? It does sound interesting, it's just not my cup of tea. Let's see. Oh, Wolfdog says, I'm currently playtesting Microverse. Very fun. Yeah, it's a beer and pretzels space game, for sure. Is there anything else that... Okay, South Asian Monsoon. I played this and talked about this kind of extensively last year at CircleDC. I got to play this with a car, along with Jason Carr and Jason Matthews, hanging out, listening to them play this. It very much, again, this is, as you can see, the prototype here. It is a very shrunken down Twilight Struggle, but it is its own animal. And it was fascinating to me to listen to these guys speak of the history of all of this and their knowledge about this, but it is very much okay, the design is Jason Matthews of Twilight Struggle and Jason Carr, the head of development at GMT. And then Jason is also part of the development team, as well as the team itself. And I don't know Peter Evans, but also this, if you're in the Twilight Struggle or you want a smaller sized one, but that lives in that universe, but is very much its own game, this is a game that will interest you. Okay, so the second Zizka here. This is the second in the oh god, there you go. Volko's Levy and Campaign series, and I believe Nevsky is the first one in that, which that game intimidates the hell out of me, but maybe eventually we will get around to doing this. I know John would like that, and I know a lot of y'all out there would like it. But here's the second one. This is, I know nothing about this in any way, shape, or form. This is, yeah. Yes, this has only made the cut games. That's all we're talking about right now. But, Bohemia 15th century. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say volume 2? I'm sorry. I missed the 5. It's volume 7. I apologize. My bad. My bad. I missed the V. My bad. I was like, wow, I feel like there have been a lot more. Maybe it's me. Yeah. My bad. I missed it. Yes. Triumvir. The Great Statesman series. I'm trying Versailles 1919, Churchill, that series. So if you want to take the three-headed dragon into Rome, yes, Caesar, Pompey, and Crassus. I'm so all over this. I am so all over this. Yes, Rome and those three. Like I'm so all over. I want this a lot. Pokey Frosh says with I can never pronounce this right. Almoravid the first. I bit off more, or I bit off more than I could chew. Yeah. Kushigra, maybe Volko should interview Edward on why he's scared of Nevsky. The learning curve on it's really big. That's all. So there you go. That's all. So anyway, that is the games that are made the cut. Support these if you are so. These are still a ways away. Again, this is the current iteration of where Echoes is. So this should be fairly representative of the series. Again, for those that missed it, don't back this until we stream it next month. But yeah, this is clearly we're going to stream this in its prototype form. So, all right, that is made the cut. Now, in art and final development. Okay. Well, one of my most anticipated games in existence, Volko's Coast Watchers. I played this last year. I played Draken. I can't pronounce it like Volko does. Which is this World War I version and going to be the next in the series after Coast Watchers. This is all about reconnaissance. It's a block war game, but you don't move the blocks. I am so smitten with this game. This is, again, not final art, but this is a kind of reminiscent of how the game looked to me in the version I played. So each of these little green areas are where blocks are, and it's the Allies versus the IJA/IJN, and it's all about gaining information. Think Stratego, but without the blocks moving. You're all about trying to find information, and it's not. And when you gain that information, your opponent sometimes knows the information you're gaining, and sometimes you can gain information in secret without them knowing. And this game relies heavily on the honor system. So play with people you trust. But this is a fascinating system. And my number one most anticipated board game right now is Coast Watchers. I cannot speak highly enough about this game. And I feel like the complexity here is maybe not representative. I feel like it should be a tick or two higher. Still in the middle, but certainly a tick or two higher. It has a chit pool system that that allows for the customizing of odds in this, and just fantastic. I would love, because this is getting close, I don't know if we're going to be able to get a prototype of this, and I don't know if Volko would be on board with this, but I would love to be able to stream this ahead of release. Because this game, the fact that there are only 803 kind of surprises me, but also makes me sad because more people, it's quicker. It's coming. It's close to being done. They're working on final art and also the solitaire to be able to play as the allies against the IJA and the IJN. So stoked for this game. Yeah. Anyway, that is really, really high on my list. What else are y'all interested in from this? 1833 Nebraska is Tom Lehman's game he's been working on forever. He's been working on this for the better part of 20 or 30 years, I believe. That is correct. So, I mean... Oh, hold on. I'm looking at the map. Nashua's on there. Boston, Lowell, Framingham, Fitchburg, Worcester. Nice! So, unfortunately, my town's not on here, but that's okay. That's okay. Oh, yeah. So, anyway, this is a big game from Tom Lehman. Tom Lehman designed 1846, Race for the Galaxy. A lot of games. This is not a beginner 18XX. It moves the 1846 rules to New England to portray regional railroading with a vengeance. It's 2 games in one, a standard game plus a takeover game. Did I say Nebraska? I meant New England, obviously, but my bad. Apologies. Yeah, Northeast is what it is. I just misspoke. Sorry. Obviously, I live here. I live like here. So, hi. It's me waving. All right. So anyway, yeah. Super stoked. Looking forward to that one. This is where I get a little bit of break. I get to go to the Gathering of Friends. I imagine Tom's going to have this there. I am planning on playing it in April at the Gathering of Friends. So I'm excited to be able to check that out. I assume Tom's going to have it there. So yay. I will report back. If you are a patron, you're going to get access to hearing about that. So yay. So patreon.com/HCHQ. If you're enjoying this, please like and subscribe. Certainly would appreciate it. It helps the channel. All right, let me catch up. Away team, somebody mentioned. What do we got? The Voyages of the Pandora. Okay. What do we got? What the hell is that? Wow. Again, not final layout, it says. The Moonlit Veil Environ map. What the hell is this? Okay, this is all themed. Here we go. Exploring alien worlds in a distant star system. You command the Pandora, an interstellar survey ship. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, my God. This sounds fantastic. Locate exo-life forms. Document. Collect exo-DNA. Identify and survey environments suitable for human settlement and development. Search for intelligent life in alien cultures. Don't get killed. Oh my God, I am all in this. 3 modes of play. Solitaire campaign, solitaire star system, a repeatable gameplay experience commanding one voyage, or a multiplayer variant. Oh my God, this is a John Butterfield. So yeah, this is oh God, the 3-part, the one where I didn't like the third one because it was so incongruent with the first two. Help me out. What game am I thinking of? But I am so into this. Oh my God, this sounds great. Oh, by the way, yeah, John Butterfield's done a million. He is absolutely a legend. Yes, but I'm trying to think. The Star game did in 3 parts. Space Corp. Thank you. That's it. But just wanted to highlight something. Game developers Jason Carr, Kai Jensen, the widow of Chad Jensen, who I got to fanboy meeting Kai. I never met Chad. I made it totally awkward 100% when I met Kai. Kai's so nice and friendly, and she very rarely comes out to the East Coast. So the fact that she was at CircleDC, I went up to her. I was like, hey, big fan of your late husband's work, and also I love that she's still involved in board games, and she is on the development team at GMT for various games. I think that's awesome. Also, Julie Butterfield, I don't know who that is. Is that Mrs. Butterfield? No joke intended. Or is that his daughter? I don't know. But awesome. Gary says, I got to interview Kai Johnson once. She was awesome. Yeah, Kai's awesome. I only talked to her for like 5 minutes or so, but super cool. And it was nice to meet her. So that was really cool. But I am all in on this. Oh my God, this looks fantastic. 3,089 orders. And in final art, or art and final development. And also he did Ambush, yes, which is a choose your own adventure for wargamers, which I want to get a copy and be able to stream. I'm not kidding. That would be great. What else did y'all mention here? I mean, Baltic Empires, I think somebody had mentioned. I don't know this. The Northern Wars of 1558 to 1721. What's approachable 2 to 5 player strategy game about conflicts in the Baltics? Okay. Five asymmetric factions. A historical thematic deck of historical dramatis personae to constitute your royal court. That sounds cool. A simple yet deep economic system. Okay. Streamlined battle system. And variable player count. Okay. Dig it. That's designed by Brian Askalev. So Fred Serval, Homo Ludens, and Joe Dewhurst. So I imagine they have covered this extensively. Sort of a Civ-style Waro hybrid. That sounds fantastic. Now on my radar. Okay. So keep working our way through. What do we got? We'll talk more about Fields of Fire in a little bit. Infernal Machine, here we go. Dawn of Submarine Warfare. This is also the same designer as the Raids. So this is Jeremy White and Atlantic Chase along with Ed Ostermeyer. So a lot of y'all had mentioned this one. So obviously has gotten a ton of heads up. So how many on this? There's only 604, but it's made the cut. Apologies, sorry, I'm moving around too much. So here we go. Solitaire board game. Again, everything's prototype. Cast the player in the role of inventor entrepreneur in mid-19th century America. So this is for the American Civil War. So this isn't U-boats. This is American Civil War subs. Scenario or campaign. Choose a city or port where the project's machine shop will be. Oh my God. This is great. I love this hobby so much. This is awesome. Oh my God. I don't want to read the whole, but I'm so in. Dude, Jeremy's coming up with some wicked cool ideas, ain't he? You recruit, oh my God, it's Mr. President. But for if you want to build subs for the American Civil War. Holy crap. Yes. Okay, I'm in. 100%. See, and this is why, this is the, me and GMT. Yes. Yeah, okay. Infernal Machine. Yes. I'm in. The end. Okay. Hey, look, Mr. President, second edition. Reprint. I'm waiting for the upgrade kit. Desperately waiting. Enough on that. Hey, look, Volume 5 in the Levian campaign series is Seljuk. I'm probably mispronouncing that, but Byzantium in the 11th century. Okay, Guerrilla Generation. So this is a wicked way that the coin system is being stretched. So this is designed by Stephen Rangazaris. He's the one working with NB on Combat Commander Vietnam. We saw this, and this is really, really pretty clever. So you can play this coin 2-player or 4-player. You can have simultaneous games going on of two-player coin games. But the people on this side of the table can exchange resources and help each other. But it's a team game, but only one player can win. And that side can. And what happens in one game can happen in the other. And there is a Resisting Reagan board that is in between the two maps. It is not pictured in any of this. Sorry. But that then is a tug-of-war thing that is going on. That it is a mind-blowing twisting of the coin system. Looks really, really cool. Did not get a chance to try it, but I'm going to be sitting down talking to Steven about this, as well as Combat Commander Vietnam. Less so the British way, because that's been out for a while, but this is a new take on the British way. But this seems really clever. Okay? So, yeah. That is the Guerrilla Generation that is down there at the bottom. It's been on the screen there for a while. So here, we'll go and change these up a little. All right. What else do we have? Look, more coin. The Weimar Republic. Not to be confused with Weimar. That came out from Capstone and all that. But this is designed by Gunnar Holmbach. Looks like. So solitaire and same theme. But imagine if Weimar were a GMT version. So this looks really interesting. Really interesting to me. Because I'm fascinated by this period in history now that I've learned about it. But yeah, this looks pretty good. So CDG. 4 factions competing for dominance. So, yeah, like a 4-player CDG. All right. By the way, Jason Carr really, really wants me to stream this. So apparently we're going to be doing some Plum Island horror stuff. So GMT does horror games. So Herman Lutman is the designer on this one, and he very much wants us to cover this. So we will see about doing that. I know y'all are talking about the Pure Land. So again, more coin. And I'm not trying to sell give it short shrift, but I mean, it's new riffs on the system. So it looks like Samurai Japan, right? 15th century Japan. Okay. Man, I do appreciate the artwork from back in that time period. This is Joe Dewhurst's design and being developed by Fred Serval and Steven Rangazas. So you have designers developing other people's games and developers designing other, it's incestuous in good ways. I think that's really clever and good use of resources. Okay, what else do we got? No one mentioned it, I don't know, but Zheng He, Admiral of the Ming Voyages. I don't know this. A solitaire game recreates the voyages of the Ming treasure fleets in the early 1400s. Commanding fleet sails the Indian Ocean, earning glory for the emperor, keeping favor with the ministers of the court, so that he can continue to sail. Okay. Man, I love the themes that we're going with. Oh, this is David Thompson, Jeff Engelstein. Okay, I imagine you all know those names. I'm in. So this will be on the lighter end of things, but this looks pretty cool. And again, when I say lighter end, that's not, again, I'm not giving short shrift. I'm just saying that they're lighter. That's it. That's the world that especially David inhabits, and for the most part, Jeff as well. Yeah, that's a couple of designers that I'm interested in anytime they come out with games. So that works out. And okay, I'm just curious before we move on. The 20th Anniversary Hall of Fame Edition. The hell does that mean? So it's still counted. This isn't like the super fancy version. Oh my God. You know what I'm so pissed about? I forgot to mention. I so wanted to talk to Gene and Rachel about the Hungarian edition on this. That's my number 2 Grail game. Google it. Anyway, all right. I think... all right, that's it for In Art and Final Development. Moving at the printer. Now, I'm curious, for the stuff that is at the printer, this is your last chance. If any of the games that we're about to cover are interested, this is when you have to do it now to get that price. Or else once it leaves this group and goes into this, it's too late. And then once we make it up to shipping now, then it's just full price. Okay? All right. Hey, guess what? This is also super, super high on my anticipated can't wait for list. This is the game that's putting NB on the map, I feel like. This is his first published design. Cross Bronx Expressway is the third in the ICS series. I have talked about it extensively over the last year. I would love to be able to show this off early, but it's so close now that I think we just wait for the final edition. And maybe I am not putting pressure on him, but I talked to NB about maybe coming to the studio when we stream this and him just staying off camera so that he can give heckle and color commentary to the game and the historical flavor while we're actually streaming the actual play of the game, because he won't be on camera. He hasn't agreed to that, but he said he would at least consider. That would be amazing if you're me. Just from I would love to be able to share that with y'all aspect. So Cross Bronx Expressway, super, super into that game. If you are familiar with the ICS series, Vijay Nagara and the Guest of Robin, or the Jest of Robin Hood, This is a significant step up in complexity. It is not impenetrable or anything like that, but it is certainly heavier than those two. I just wanted to make sure that everyone is aware of that. Everything here is prototype. But yeah, this is something that is near and dear to NB's heart. He has extensively researched, like I am so into this. So again, we have talked about the complexity scale. Look at where this is. This is in the ICS series, but it's right there in the middle. So this has got some real teeth to it. So this is not a beer and pretzels type game. But it is school night doable. Okay? So, yeah. This is a fascinating concept, something I never knew about, made me interested about the history. And $55, that's awfully good. If you want to dip your toe into the coin, but you don't like the rigidity of coin, this might be a way to get into that, okay? If you want something historical that isn't war game, because this is just historical simulation. This is about the development of the Cross Bronx Expressway in the Bronx in New York City. All right? Exactly. So John says, I have a friend who works in the civil services in New York City. Can get quite animated. I want to play this when I get a copy with him. Yeah, exactly, right? So anyways, obviously that's a biggin to me. And obviously to NB, it's his first published game. So I'm really excited for him for that. All these else, I believe, are reprints, except for By Swords and Bayonets. This is not really my jam, the traditional hex and counter straight up war game. But it's there for those that are interested. Who was the designer on that? Ellen Dickerson. This is Richard Berg's system. The late, great Richard Berg. Okay. I don't know this. So what do we got here? Hubris. Twilight of the Hellenistic World. The game. Here we go. Covers 55 years from 220 to 165 BCE. Third Syrian War to the Third Macedonia War and the Battle of Pydna between Perseus of Macedon and the legions of Consul Paulus. Okay. I don't know anything about this. Okay. Oh, same subject as successors. Thank you, Wolf Dog. That's helpful. Okay. Alluvial. Give me a example. So a lunchtime CDG. Oh, okay. All the living rules and stuff. Yeah. All right. So lunchtime's a little small. CDG of the Munich crisis in Czechoslovakia in 1938. Okay. Okay, cool. And this one is Peter Mosish. I'm probably mispronouncing that, but I'm trying. Okay, so let me... Okay, no. Trying to think of something that like has multiples. Let me see if... Okay, so living rules, right? And then there are a bunch of so all of this, a lot of these, actually, here, I'll do this. So living rules, whenever you get a game from GMT and you go to its page, right? So there is the official errata and clarifications that you can then go through, whatever. So living rules stuff, online resources. There's stuff from Legendary Tactics. Eventually, oh wow. Well, I think it's kind of funny. Yeah, and y'all, this you can get on GMT about. I'm just saying we dedicated a whole work week, and that's where we are. And interesting. Okay, well anyway, you have other resources out here. Anyway, there we go. All right, moving on. So, at the printer, is there anything else? I mean, there were a bunch of reprints. And, yeah, I pretty much covered all those. All right, now, last bit, shipping now. You can't get these at a discount. So, what do we got? Just the Robin Hood. So, hey, we're streaming that tomorrow at noon. A World at War, we saw its follow-up down earlier, right? Talking about that one. Congress of Vienna, that's a reprint. So number 4, did I see? In that series. So the tug of war, like Churchill, so on and so forth, right? Maybe it's done chronologically. We did a week's worth, and there's one link. I'm just saying. I might be bitter. I am. Fields of Fire. So Ben Ward was at CircleDC, and he had Fields of Fire Fields of Fire 2 out. This is he is a Marine. So I wanted to highlight some of his stuff. They don't have the map on there. Bummer. But it is a big solitaire tactical combat World War II, Korea, and Vietnam game. This is a heavy game, and it is hard. And I have avoided it because it is hard. But according to this, I should be able to tackle it. So, yeah. Okay. Fighting Formations. Chad Jensen's. The late, great Chad Jensen's. This is the second volume in his game. All right. In the Shadows. So I do know that Candace from BGG is doing a sponsored stream for In the Shadows. She did tell me that. This is Dan Bullock and Joe Schmidt's game. So a light, how do we describe this? Two-player, a light CDG. The French Resistance. World War II, obviously. Yeah, Ben Hull is, he's a goofy dude, and I can, like, in a way that I'm a goofy dude. So I like that we have, these Marines that can be, giddy about board games, and that's awesome. And yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I like Ben. So yeah, all right. This looks like a pretty small, short playtime. A lighter World War II CDG. So probably another lunchtime one. You could make the argument on. All right, so there you go. And I'll go ahead and highlight Mark's book. Historian's View on Wargame Design by Mark Herman. I think that's kind of cool. Again, that dude has an encyclopedic amount of knowledge when it comes to designing war games. Mark's one of the titans, and pretty amazing. So yeah, if you want to dig into that, then that is available as well. All right, so that is it for the P500. Now, what I wanted to do briefly before we bug out is, so a buyer's guide to the fall sale. Now, the spring sale is currently going on for GMT. Again, this is not a sponsored commercial. I'm just trying to help save y'all some money. Okay? Right. So there's this. What games are close to going out of stock? So there. Almoravid has 34 copies when this was written. This was written March 25th. It is now April 3rd. So Gene wrote this before CircleDC. So if you see anything here, you better order it now if you want it, or else it's going to go away for a while. I'm sure they'll all get reprinted, but it's going to be a while. So there's always secondary market and all that stuff. I get that. But yeah, so that's how many copies there are of the various games that are pictured there. However, now note, the following games have been out of stock in a while, but when they went through their physical inventory, they found some. So, these are super limited, if you want these. And by super limited, they are 66 or less of everything pictured there. Okay? What games in the sale have the highest retail prices? So these are the big ticket items. If you have to pay full price. Red Dust Rebellion. That is kind of the latest, greatest coin. The people, it's the Expanse on Mars, sort of, coin. So there you go. These are not cheap. But they're also really big games. Okay? Bestsellers in stock for the sale. Okay. Now, obviously, some of these are mentioned in other places as well, but, you know, hey. Best-selling games in stock. Hey, look, there's Dominant Species. Battle Line is fantastic. Pass of Glory, an all-time, was, for a short time, the #1 game on BGG. Bet y'all didn't know that. Well, some of y'all probably did, but whatever. Sekigahara, some people say the best block war game ever invented. A lot of classic coin games here in CDGs. You got Labyrinth, Fire in the Lake. Churchill. Unfortunately, I'm retired from that game. Here I Stand. We eventually are going to stream that bad boy. I mean, it's Twilight Struggle, so all those are in stock, or at least were at the time of this writing. Okay? What CDGs and such are in stock? There you go. These run the gamut of smaller, Fort Sumter, to bigger, Tanto Manta and Here I Stand and Virgin Queen, to kind of harder, Labyrinth, stuff like that. Okay? 1989 is Twilight Struggle-ish, but in the in the late 80s, early 90s. Euro family strategy games are in stock. Of these, I'm familiar with Battle Line, Dominant Species Marine, Space Corp, Urban Sprawl, what up? Barracks Emperors, and Centerville. Welcome to Centerville. So, there you go. Oh, and I played Thunder Alley. Not my favorite racing game, but I enjoy it. Drive fast, turn left. Most popular series are in stock for, okay, the 18XXs. To circle back, 18 India, I've never played it, Gary. So there you go. $1862. I know there are other soloable 18XX games, so 1862 is a majestic titan in design and one of my all-time favorite games. I've not played any other 18XX solo, and 46 is a good jumping off spot for getting into 18XX games. So, 18XX that are in stock, there we go. This series I have not gotten into. Combat Commander with Chad and Kai. So all of those various things. Coin Sister, Volko Runke, and Friends. So there you go. That are in stock. Fields of Fire series. Great Battles in American Civil War. Great Battles in History. Great Statesman series. So Versailles, I still want to play. And Churchill. The Levian Campaign. Inferno, not to be confused with the Euro Inferno, which is right over there. Men of Iron series, Musket and Pike. These are ones that I own some of. I own some of the Musket and Pike, but I've never played them yet. The Next War series, those are really big games. I like the idea of them more than I do actually digging into them. The Panzer series, also not my cup of tea, but can appreciate. Mark Simonich's really big games. Last 100 Years War, Thunder Alley series, and hey, Counter Trays. Can also recommend the other bigger ones for from Cube Me. They're expensive, but they're available. And there you go. That is it. Okay. So, that was our perusal of, i.e., a veiled commercial for GMT. Honestly, it's just because I thought I wanted to do some kind of lighter content for myself today, but also I just recently was with the entire GMT crew and their sale happened. Yes, it helps them, but it also helps y'all to highlight and to be able to save y'all money on those. And it gives me another excuse to highlight something that we're going to be doing soon, next month. So I realize it just became April, but I'm going to be gone half of April at the Gathering of Friends, so that's why next month. So yeah, what do y'all think? Did you enjoy it? If you did, like and subscribe. I wasn't going to let the cat out of the bag, but I figure I probably should. The patrons at the $5 and up level were privy to my and James's conversations and mini interviews with like Volko and Adam and stuff from CircleDC. Now the private podcast, the podcast is coming back. Let me officially say that. I will announce it officially next week, but you have a heads up on that. There are going to be 2 podcasts. There is going to be a private podcast that is going to be for patrons of a certain level. We're still discussing that. And then there is going to be the big public podcast as well that is going to not be deep dives, but we'll talk about that. Anyway, the patrons will get access to these little behind the scenes little benefits because it's bonus content and they should get bonus stuff, and they do. So there you go. So yeah, hopefully you all enjoyed that or found it useful. Maybe put some games on your radar, whatever. Whether or not you buy them, that's up to you. I'm not trying to push games. I'm simply trying to show them off in various capacities. So hopefully you all enjoyed that. I did. Plus, I got turned on to games that I didn't know about. So that was cool to be able to do that and share that with y'all. So with that said, I will be back in 4 hours. We're doing Power Grid with the new power planes, Volume 1, the OG power plant. Well, there are OG, and then there are the new power plants, Volume 1, and there's a Volume 2. We're doing Volume 1. Didn't know there was a second volume. My bad. Anyway, Power Grid, tonight, 7 o'clock. I'll see you all then. I'm Edward. Like and subscribe, please. Really does help the channel. And patreon.com/HCHQ. You make that light blink, you get a shout out, you get perks. You get access to the Slack channel. You get access to bonus YouTube content as well. So lots of reasons. Plus, you help keep the lights on and keep us upgrading the equipment as we go along. And yeah, I don't know that I can do more content, but you get better quality. So there's that. So please consider supporting the show. Thanks everybody for watching. See you all tonight, 4 hours. Later, y'all. Bye.